Right. What's up, everybody? Happy Halloween. Welcome to episode number 52 of the Tattoo Weekly with Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network, Gabe Ripley of TattooNow, and myself of Reinventing the Tattoo. We're happy to have you guys here. We're all together for the first time in a couple weeks. So today we'll cover a lot of where we've been and a little bit of a recap. Also some other interesting things that are happening around the United States. Besides shows like this, if you guys are tuning in, we have a lot of stuff coming up throughout the week. Mondays are pretty hopping on reinventing. So we start the day off early with Drawing for Tattooers led by James Wisdom. If you missed that, just head over to our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel to watch the episode. There's a lot of really great content happening. Later this evening at 5 p.m. is Robbie Rapol's Feelings. So that is a cool episode to join in. You guys can join the Zoom link through our calendar on reinventingthetattoo.com if you'd like to join in on those conversations. Later on in the evening is the Evolution class led by Sandy McAndrew, and that's been going on. It's a weekly class with tattooers of all skill sets that join and review the canon. More information on that canon, reinventingthetattoo.com. Other than that, tomorrow morning, we'll see you bright and early at 10 a.m. with Ricardo Sturdamont for his Reinventing Drawing Group. Wednesdays, if you're interested in our business roundtable that's been going on for several months, TattooNow is led. Gabe and I can talk about that today if you'd like, but those are always Wednesdays at noon, followed by Tattoo Collecting 101 Thursdays at 6, and Jason Leeser's Skill Building Sundays at 1 p.m. Otherwise, I'm happy to get things kicked off. I'm excited to hear from Jake as to where he's been, how Richmond went, and all the sorts. So what's up, everybody?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry I missed you guys last week. Did anything cool happen?
Yes, actually. I'll go ahead and roll our clip and then we can talk about the cool stuff that we've
Let's do it.
been into.
Our intro. We're never going to update that trailer. We just resign ourselves to that.
Lauren, I think your audio is off, Lauren.
Oh, well, I was saying is it was cool to see Gabe last week and work the things that we're doing right now, but like in action at that Northeast Needle Jig meetup. That was really cool, Gabe.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, Jiminy Peak is always, it's just a great place. And it was fun. It was a ton of people that I was kind of surprised for, an event that, like 3-4 months maybe. And it was fun. It was awesome. I do have, some of we have it all virtually, so we could go to still get a chance to check out the replays and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, Jake, I actually really wish you would have made it out. There's some super interesting topics discussed.
I wish I would have too. It was just we had that conflict with the Richmond show, but I was surprised. I talked to Gabe on the phone on Friday. I was surprised at the turnout because I really didn't think that it was meant to be a huge event. Like you said, it wasn't advertised as a ton.
Huge. But,
I mean, Or I really thought it was something super tiny, but you said that there were like 40 or 50 people there. You thought?
Yeah, I mean the seminar room was all filled up. I wouldn't want to put too many more people in there, frankly. And it was cool. And everyone, this was one of those like the worldwide conference where everyone took the same classes. So with a smaller group like that, it was great because even though it was it was a lot of people for some of their seminar teachers, and but it was all great. It was all the right crew, right? Like, so they're all pretty vetted. Mark still vets everybody at Needle Jig. There's a couple other suppliers that are still like independently owned by tattooers. But like they still vet everybody and whatnot. So and Jimmy Peak's in the middle of nowhere. So by the time you get out there and there's usually not very many assholes. So it was a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that it was the perfect size because literally there was a really good mix between there was several apprentice levels, there were several very experienced tattooers. So it was like a nice mix, but everybody was able to ask her questions. It wasn't like it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Did you use just a single room there, or did you use kind of like you do for Paradise? Did you have multiple? Did you have to set up a lot of spaces?
We had two. We used two
Two
rooms.
Yeah.
So there was one seminar room, and then the other one on the other side was kind of where people set up and whatnot. And Mark also made sure that there was speed networking events.
That's
so
cool.
that everyone was meeting everyone else, which was pretty fun. You know, there was definitely a couple of people that were like, really, I'm not doing trust falls, but I guess I'll do a networking thing. But, you know, by the end of it, everyone's like got new friends, and, you know, it was, that was fun. And I would never, I appreciate co-producing events with people, because I never in a million fucking years would have that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess we do kind of, but people make that happen by themselves. My events typically, but yeah, so Mark made sure that everyone, you know, was talking to each other and networking. Guy does a similar thing too. But yeah, no, that was all cool people. It was 2 days, so some people came in Monday.
I'm still actually laughing, like I'm laughing pretty hard in my head right now thinking about it, but I was really happy to meet a few new people I've never met. And Allie, she goes by fast_Allie on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh God, she was so cool. And she has some of the best work I've ever seen.
She has a piece from Philip Liu, right?
Yeah.
I met her in I've actually talked to her a few times over the years on Instagram, but I met her in Venice.
Oh, okay.
She was there painting, and her partner, boyfriend, husband, I don't know what is like has a bodysuit from
a very impressive one, to say the least.
Yeah.
They both were really
awesome,
cool,
man.
and the content she covered, she did it she was so thorough with her presentation. I was just really excited to see that she has first of all the artwork on herself, but second of all, she really cares about her clients.
Yeah, and then that's right. She's doing cosmetic tattooing, like needle nipple reconstruction or nipple tattooing. Yeah, she wasn't doing that whenever I met her originally. We didn't talk about that. I want to say she was on Fireside. I think we had her on the show, or maybe I just talked to her long enough there that I feel like she was on the show. Yeah, she was awesome. I really liked her. That's cool.
That was at the Venetian tattoo gathering.
Yeah.
Oh man, with that ballroom, holy schmoly.
Yeah. So she was painting. Do you remember her from that event?
Yeah,
she was painting at the. I'm sure. Yeah, you probably knew her. That's where I
think she was at the very first tattoo gathering, if not some of the very first. So for her, it was amazing to kind of go from, you know, go into a lot of these events to now having you know, really awesome contributions. You know, and her to Lauren's point, like, you know, she had taken enough seminars so that by the time she presented it, you know, it was tight. It was good.
Yes, it was very well put together and organized. I was just like excited that she was so passionate about presenting, and she made sure that everybody was on the same page. Some interactive stuff that she prepared. So if you guys missed that, you can still catch it virtually.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's if you go to the virtualtattooconventions.com or to needlejig.com, they'll have links.
Speaking of her husband, Jake, you know, it's really funny because Jason had remembered who he was based on his tattoo. He was in London, I think 2017 or 18, and he had seen him just walking around, and he remembered the tattoo so much that, like, it was just a really cool moment when they realized they had both been in the same place, which will probably never happen again.
Yeah. It's such a I don't remember if I saw his in person. I don't remember if he was in Venice. I did see Allie's work, but I think maybe she just showed me photos of him, and then now I follow her on Instagram, so I see I've seen his work on her Instagram before. So that's incredible. You don't get to see that very often.
It was pretty cool too, with just listening to hear people when they change their viewpoint, when they start working with all sorts, you know, breast cancer survivors and all sorts of stuff, traumatic injuries. But she's so happy to do that for her clients, but yet she also has her artistic. She'll take a day or two a week for that, but she's still really into doing her own thing with tattooing. So I like to see, you know, passion projects like that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, who else? Who were some of the other presenters?
Oh, well, first of all, you know, Renee Little.
Oh yeah.
So, and then there was Tara Quinn, who was on recently. I
Uh-huh.
really liked the way she presented. She brought like a mock client up and kind of went through her consultation process with
Nice.
kind of discovering what it was like to bring details out about, like, you know, for her, pet portraits. So
Mhm.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm firing up a little bit of it here.
Ooh,
Nice.
a little sneak peek. Yeah, she's really cool. I enjoyed Tara a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, me too.
This was a really smooth thing. Besides Tara, Frank DeMeo was there. That was really cool. He did a cover-up seminar.
Okay.
Actually, Frank DeMeo is a very interesting character. I really enjoyed him. He helped cook breakfast for everybody on Tuesday.
Oh, nice. I know that name, but I don't think I've ever met him.
Yep, out of Connecticut. Another great presentation was Aaron Williams, which is right at the top. So are you familiar with TATCOM, Jake?
Don't know if I am.
Oh my gosh, you probably should ask him to go on Fireside if you'd like information at all.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
information.
Oh my gosh, like he's a total nerd, just like Gabe.
Oh,
Yeah, he's like
Go
the
ahead.
wicked nerd.
Wicked,
Okay,
and I
I'm a
love it.
nerd. I'm a geek.
yeah.
He's in
Yeah,
the
you're a
fucking
geek, he's a
zeros and
nerd.
ones.
That's a good thing to say, but he was going through some of the things and he was telling me just where his imagination flows, and when he wants to find something out, he'll put things together like that,
Yeah, I have.
make it happen.
You know where I've heard of him? Carson Hill told me about
Yes.
him. He has a something, he was talking about some type of a pad or something that he had where you could like run a tattoo machine against a pad, not with needles. Maybe he had some type of a blunt cartridge that would measure torque resistance, a lot of different like machine variables and things like that that I had never heard of before. So I think
Yeah, I would
that's the
love for
same
you
thing.
to really pick his brain. I'm actually
Yeah.
talking to him later today, but one of the things that he did, for example, and I could be saying it wrong, we should actually invite him to be on the show to talk about it, but he had
Mhm.
taken a very strong, like powerful telescope. And so he kind of took it apart and created a sort of camera that could record very, very, very slowly and he also created a silicone type style synthetic skin and recorded a needle lining.
Oh, interesting.
It's some of the most
Huh.
amazing content I'd seen, but it was really opening everybody's brains up, because remember your episode on the suction of the ink into the skin?
Mhm.
That's exactly what you see, but it's so different because you're looking at it completely macro. You're seeing exactly what
Yeah.
happens, but not only does the skin suction, like with each line that goes in, you can see exactly what happens, like when the skin kind of like
Yeah.
re-trampolines down, and how it affects previous punctures. Super
Oh,
interesting.
really cool. Yeah, that's definitely someone I should
Yeah, one
talk
of the
to.
things he also said that I think is worth sharing is that, like, a lot of times you'll talk about the generational gaps being either positive or negative. But in this case, like the speed versus voltage, for people really understanding what that is, it's a generational gap. And so he's kind of put the time in to understand the why. And it's kind of bringing things to the future with that type of technology.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, he would that'd be someone that I would love to talk to. I had a similar conversation just in passing in Richmond with Joshua Bowers.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about, and I'd never met him before. I've seen him at shows. I've just never stopped to introduce myself. And so I was talking to him, and he was making some of the same points that we've heard people make on our show before, whether it's Sean Bellina or Carson Hill, but he had a little bit of a different take on it, on how the vacuum actually happens, and the importance of actually the not only hitting the skin, but the skin stretching to form a more of an oval than just a direct puncture, so that you can actually get enough air into the hole that you've punctured to create the vacuum. And he talked about the motion of the machine in order to make that happen. And we didn't do it on a podcast. We just sit at his booth.
Man,
But
it is weird. It is weird that happens in the elasticity of the skin. Like with the second, like if you have the first puncture, it like goes like, say, this much, if you can see. The second puncture, the elasticity of the skin brings it down so that previous puncture, the ink even goes further, like this much further down. So it's all relatable. It's cool that you can that other tattooers are having these ideas, because scientifically it's facts.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. And it's funny that the conversations are happening all over the place now. Those types of conversations are happening all over the place now. And people are taking the same information, like visualizing it slightly differently and drawing different conclusions, on what's, kind of what's important. And it's funny, the day after I got back from Richmond, I was thinking about what Joshua Bowers was saying, and I was playing, like trying to get into his mindset, and I was playing with the angle of the machine and coming in at some very, very extreme angles, working on what was I working on? I can't remember the tattoo now, but whatever it was, I was coming in at some really extreme angles and getting really great saturation. And it made me think of like how I've always done that on like really spongy areas, like rib cages or this back spongy area of the arm, that it's difficult to get penetration. And so I'll end up coming in almost at like straight on with the skin to get better saturation, and thinking of Joshua Bauer's logic as that's kind of similar to what Mark was saying, and I can't pinpoint exactly what he was saying, but that was some of the questions. Because in a situation like that, when you've got 40 tattooers, some new, some very experienced, you're going to have all sorts of brainstorming going on with that. Mark was particularly intrigued, I'll say, because he's that's what he does, and I was particularly intrigued thinking about, what are those absorption rates? Are they measurable? Everybody has their own take on this. But Sean, he's watching, he says, great info. Where can I follow Tatcom? Instagram at Tatcom. Otherwise, I think Aaron Williams would be like Mad Scientist 854 or something like that. But yeah, those nerdy
probably
videos are really
TATTCOM too.
Yeah, 2 T's. I just
TATTCOM, I believe.
Okay. Make the same notes myself. Thanks for the question.
Yep, and his partner is just as smart too. And the nice part about it is that type of innovation is hands-on. It's not like they outsource a lot of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
No, they're in there programming the zeros and the ones, like they're like fucking way in there.
Yeah, and that's what the industry needs. It doesn't need more copycats. We really need innovation, because we're at a point with technology that this type of stuff is. I mean, the best mind, may the best mind win. But yeah, it's cool. It's not just a power spot.
Speaking of some of this technology, and I'll talk more about it once I use it, but I was mailed a new tattoo machine that I haven't used yet. I just got it on Friday, and I basically opened it and left town for the boat. But it I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it came in the most like advanced looking packaging. It looked like it came from Apple, and but it comes in a it comes in a case. You guys may know it whenever I say tell you this part. It comes in a case, a big white kind of case that uses UV rays to sterilize the machine every time you close the case.
That's cool. I don't know. I haven't heard that one yet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I haven't used it yet. The person sent it out to me and asked. They actually asked if I would just give feedback on it. So I don't know if I'll do an episode on it. If it's interesting enough, I will. But I don't know if I'll do an episode on it or just give them feedback. But I'll talk more about it. I'm going to use it tomorrow. I have a sleeve to line tomorrow, so I'm going to try to use it for that. But it looks like the rest of them. It looks like the new Cheyenne or FK that has like the built-in battery packs that you kind of like. It's all touchscreen. It works off an app on your phone. It even came with like a phone holder, like a little like this crazy little fold out kind of like phone stand, so that you can keep up with it. That part really could not interest me any less. Like I don't have any interest in like, I don't even want to see my phone when I'm tattooing, much less like have to touch it or anything. So, but that for a lot of people, I know they're really into that.
And they probably have it for the controls for the machine, or
right. Yeah. It's all the kind of controls for the machine.
I think it becomes a big routine too. Like, it just sucks that your phone is everything. It'd be cool if it was just like a little device that you could control rather than getting sidetracked with all the other.
You can control it. But you could actually take your mail off. You could set your notifications to silent. I actually took off the email from my phone because it's on my iPad, but I took off my phone. I took off. You can take a lot of stuff. You could actually craft your mobile device to do. It is a tool for you to make use of, not for you to just be beholden to all the fucking
And-
notifications and shit.
And whenever I do set this thing up and try it, which I will do that, I'll use the phone just so that I'm using all the functionality that they recommend. I'll put it in airplane mode, turn all the stuff off, and make sure that I don't get any notifications. That's the thing that I can't handle whenever I'm working, is hearing any chime. Or I have one. My wife is the only one that can come through, so she has an override where if she calls, it will ring through no matter what. And that's intentional, just in case there's, and she doesn't abuse that. So
the other thing I'm curious about with a lot of these things, like how important is the software? Like, I don't know how proprietary it is, but like, what are the variations in software? Like, I'm just not familiar with it. Like, say when I look at Aaron and Tatcom, I look at like Nerd, like he's taking it to the absolute extreme. Every single thing is thought out. But like, what are the variations in the other softwares? It's pretty consistent. Are
I don't
there
know.
pros and cons?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'd love to find out. I know several ink machines. Their Scorpion and their new one called Cobra both use apps on your phone. This new one, and I apologize. I should at least.
So they're like
talking about
they're
this thing,
redoing the apps, or they're writing them themselves, or what's going on with that?
I really don't know. I haven't used any of them, but I at least need to tell you guys
I'm
what
curious,
this thing is called. So I hate to. This guy sent me this machine, and I'm acting like it's not worth me looking to see who he is, and it is, because I do appreciate them sending it out.
But while you're looking, Dan asked, how do we get to the virtual needle jig seminars? Again, that's needlejig.com or virtualtattooconventions.com.
Yeah.
Okay, this machine is called AI Tinnitus, TENITAS, AI Tinnitus. And like I said, I'd never heard of it before. It's really fancy. The packaging is super fancy. So yeah, if you guys want to look that up, I guess I could do my own screen share and look it up.
I do have an app to show off a little bit too. Alex DePace sent me his new app that he's been updating a bit. So,
is it the palette app? Or
yeah. It's part of it, yes, but it's a little bit more than that now. It's got other tools. What's it called? Ink Squad Artist is what it's called. I don't know if you can see this, but you can kind of get in here, and so this is, and again, I kind of suck at it, right? Because I don't ever do this shit. But like, you could, move the markers around. It figures out the color palettes.
Oh, okay.
Match
So
it
you
to
can
your
match your photo reference.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It'll give you like the matrix of this stuff to fuck around with your final colors, and it's got a stencil. I mean, obviously that's me doing a stencil. It's not so good, but you could get in here and draw. It's got all the full stencil tools, so you make your drawing of the stencil. You've got your inks. I actually did think for a second that I'm like, wow, maybe even I could do something that's realistic like that. But then I realized that you do need to actually still have ability. It's not quite just paint and poke by numbers. But if artists are hammering through that, it's an Ink Squad Artist, and it's only for the iPads.
Okay.
But it's also the euros in our favor too. So if you're in America, so
yeah, I've noticed
less than $10.
Nice.
Another thing I was going to say, this is a little, if you guys are ready to move on to a new topic. Okay, so obviously I like tattoo history myself, but I saw online recently that Mike Rero Art got to take a quest to see Apo Wando. So let's see how that was like, because I think it's really awesome.
Okay.
That was a really cool thing for me to see because I
That's
didn't
cool,
know that
yeah.
that was happening. Yeah. Just some amazing photos and stuff. She's just
Wow.
Yeah. a mythical being.
Does she say how long she's been tattooing?
Let's see what it is. I don't know exactly. If anyone watching does, I'm sure we could find out.
That's
Have you ever been to
interesting.
the Philippines, Gabe or Jake?
I have not.
Nope.
Have you?
Nope.
Wow.
No, I will comment. That's some great Instagram curating. If you go back up, scroll back up with that pattern there. That's nice, Brandon. There we go. That looks cool. That's different, right? Getting the
Mountain
patterns in the
symbolism.
middle, photos on the side, updating by threes.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, it sounds like a tattoo weekly trip. Should do one live from the Philippines.
Actually, you see this right here, Lars. That's how I first learned about her. We interviewed Lars for the Paradise BYOB, which is pretty fantastic. I don't know how you did that, Gabe.
You know, I had a little bit of time to put it together. You know,
That was cool.
I was, you know, it's one of the things I noted on the brainstorming meeting at the last one was that we didn't do the history programming.
Yep.
But yeah, I love doing that. I think that
that's still available, isn't it?
Yep.
That one's available too. Yep.
That panel was
Reinventing.
That was one of the heavy hitting panels I had luckily got to kind of be in the back end for, or the front end, but.
You know, if we go in, we should make a couple rounds of clips and then hit that one out, you know, hit one or two of those up for the public.
Oh yeah.
And they'd be happy, like that crew would be, I think we could get them on for another panel. Again, I want to properly promote the last one before asking them to come on again, but yeah, all those history, you know, folks, you know, there's well, I got another event that's happening in New Mexico, and I think they're going to start announcing it today. But there's another professor there that's another tattoo professor. The tattoo professors are pretty cool. They're fun. It's like the academia of the tattoo world, because they are like you know, they're definitely still feeling the heat of the, you know, the stigma. You know, it's like everywhere in like the real world, almost everywhere in the real world, people are like, oh, tattoos, cool. What do you got? You know, in academia, it is still a little bit like, you want to study tattooing? Is that a real academic spot to study?
We ran into that.
Pretty passionate.
We ran into that when we were doing the science and physics tattoo science series. Sean Bellina, who helped with that, lives in Huntsville and knows a lot of people from both NASA and Department of Defense and all the tech stuff that's down there. And we couldn't get any NASA experts, fluid dynamics people, rocket scientists. Like whenever he reached out to them to say like, hey, would you want to come in and participate in this series? Every one of them were like, why would I do that? That's silly.
Yeah. Well, tattooing is good. It's a magic space, right? I'm not going to say. Well, who knows? Maybe it's my my charm too. Who knows? But I guess is that you know, they do appreciate the ability to talk to the tattoo audience more so than maybe some of the other.
The very interesting thing is they don't only appreciate it. They want that, because some of the mentality of the why a tattooer would understand, and they expressed that when I spoke to them, that there are certain things that they might not think about when they're studying these tools and stuff like that. For example, Aaron, what's his last name, Gabe? Aaron Dieterwolf. Oh yeah, he had a couple times that he came on, and that's what he was explaining. And he has a really cool page on Instagram where he connects with tattooers, and he's doing a lot of these things himself. It's really cool. He's doing like using the right materials and tattooing himself to better understand it. But when he talks to tattooers, it's just it's history changing, really, you know, because those realizations and those questions that they ask really help them understand what's going on.
Yeah. That original panel that was done at the BYOB, was that part of the main stage? Is that a free one, or do you have to have the main stage pass to get that?
I believe you have to have a pass. You know, I think that there was a couple of them that we wanted to open up. You know what? And now that we have some new tools, we actually might be able to clip it out and send people here a little bit.
That would be a cool
like revisit BYOB. Yeah, for $120, the lineup here is just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So it's the opening panel. Here's Lars. There's the Outer Limits virtual tour, the Tattoo Weekly, hey, with some guests. guest Dan.
Nice.
And then Let's Talk Tattoo with Mark from Needlejig and Amy. John Schwerk, the guy that's studying the inks, who's been around the news lately. Lettering Exploration with Damon Tesh, Vapors of Morphine. Oh shit, do we have the full
Man, I have so much footage of Vapors of Morphine, but the audio wasn't as good as the video. I wish I could find a good way to use it. They were just so loud, and I'm like running around with the camera in.
I can mix it in. I've got I did do a
oh, nice.
YouTube.com Vapors of Morphine.
They were so good.
Tattoo.
That's more fun. Yeah. I'm sure we'll pull it up.
Tattoo artist comment. Oh, this is where I'm using some of their music. Ah, shit. Well, there is a YouTube of one of the songs I did. I actually mixed in some of the fucking clouds and shit. It's pretty cool. Anyways, okay, so
nice.
I guess we were just finding all the stuff here. Yeah, South American Tattoo Convention. That was one in Spanish. Apprentice Advice, Podcaster's Paradise, Biomechanical Traditional Mashup. Yeah, I mean, this was like 4 days of fucking craziness, huh? Yeah. Here we go. Tattoo, humanity's longest lasting fad. Oh, okay. I am enrolled. Maybe it'll log me in here. I'd love to be able to show a clip of it because no, it's actually going to ask me. No, I'm sorry. Back up.
I might be able to pull it up.
Yeah. But
speaking of history too, well, we can go back to that, but I'm going to also pull up something cool. Do you guys remember Chris Taylor? Obviously.
Yeah.
He puts on the Indie Tattoo Expo.
Yeah.
He's going to be a part of an event on November 10th in Indianapolis that's curated quite well. And I will pull it up.
When you guys finish this, I forget that I put together this morning a little clip from Richmond that's pretty cool. I'll show you guys that. Yeah. So
this one's Indigenous Tattoo Practices with Stephanie Big Eagle. She's local tattoo artist, author, and activist. She'll talk about the traditional indigenous practice of hand poke tattooing and how both the practice of tattooing and the tattoo itself shape and reflect cultural identity.
And
that is November 3rd to 13th, but Chris in particular will be going there on November 10th at 6:30, as you guys can see. So anyone watching in the Indianapolis or the Midwest area, you could probably shoot Chris a message on Instagram at Ink Therapy for more information there.
And this is just in person. It's not an online.
This is just in person, but I know that we could, arrange some video if you're interested, I'm sure. But that would be a Chris question.
Yeah. Yep. That's cool. Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can share this little video that I put together. So I woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning and couldn't go back to sleep. So I grabbed some of the footage from Richmond. And just this one night where they did some pretty interesting things in Richmond that are different than most conventions. They have the tattoo glory hole where it's like, free tattoos, so you get what you get. You just put your arm in the hole and get what you get. And then they have all the illustrators have these big 4 foot by 4 foot panels outside that they paint all 3 days, and then they're auctioned off for Jesse's charity. So you get to watch these illustrators and painters work all weekend, and there's a stage out there and food trucks and all that, which is cool. And then they did this thing called a karaoke cage match. Oh my God, my face hurt so bad the next day laughing. I mean, if you want to talk about people who go so hard at karaoke but cannot sing, but like just go hard, they had so much fun. Let me see. Do I have to do it? I don't share enough. Do I have to do a trick to share the audio, or does it
share sound?
Yeah, you want to click the button.
Yeah, share sound. There we go. Yeah, got it.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Oh, it's so good. All right. Okay. All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right.
Oh my God. Glad you woke up at 4 a.m. today.
Yeah, right. So that's it. But it was
That's awesome.
it was so good. I spent more time laughing than I did filming. I have a lot more footage of the people who actually got up there and went hard. But oh man, it was a blast. And so yeah, so this morning I got up and just clipped that little thing together.
Awesome.
Hopefully
I think we have our dates coordinated next year so that we're doing the tattoo gathering the weekend before instead of the same weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds great. And I'm excited about that. And I guess that's something trying to do a full tattoo gathering that has to start getting planned like now, huh?
Oh yeah. No, well, I've got the poster ready. Marcus Leonard and Kai Heitland. Kai has been doing most of the editing. And I don't know if it's not going to quite be like fucking. I don't know if I'm going to ever do halls of tattooers necessarily again. I think there'll be a lot of tattooing specifically for professional development purposes. We'll probably do a run of there'll be some booths too. But again, I don't think it's going to be a. I just don't have the resources to do a full on fucking tattoo gathering like I had in the past before.
Right. Right. But focus more on seminars. And the thing that I thought was so great about the BYOB was just the opportunity for people to get together, set up around a table and paint. And it was funny, I was in the seminar room most of the time in the BYOB, and a lot of the seminars only had maybe 10, 15 people. And then you would go around to the main room and realize that like no one wanted to leave the table they were at where they were painting with people, having a good time. And,
Sure.
So that I feel like I didn't like poll anyone that was there, but it seemed to me that was the real value with the relationships that those people made that weekend. So
for sure. There's a lot of great tattoos that come out of it. Being very particular about how, again, I'm not going to do the same thing. Basically, I got a lot of cool ideas, and I think I may have alluded to some of them about making the curriculum. And I had a tattoo convention plan that had to get canceled back in the shit show years. That had a lot of great ideas in it too, right? So it's like, I'm going to take the best of all the different events that we've done, see what and then there's already event like a lot. Back when we started the tattoo gathering, it was like pretty unique. Now there's more events that are dedicated to education and whatnot. So I got to make sure that they do something different. For the next time. So I'm pretty excited. But like I said, I've got the ideas. I do need to catch up though. All of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, fucking time to your point. I have already started it, but it's time to fucking get going on it.
That's the fun thing. Whenever sometimes it can be a little like intimidating or scary when if you were the kind of the first or early on in doing something, and then obviously other people kind of follow suit and they start to do the same thing, and you're like, oh shit, like now there's a lot more people doing what I'm doing. But my coach Dan Sullivan always says they can't copy the next thing. They can copy the last thing, they can't copy the next thing.
I say that.
Awesome. I say something like that too. I just feel like I have like people, or at least us three and many more, have so many ideas that it's almost like worthwhile to let some of them go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mostly for me, it's when people are copying the successful shit, right? And for me, I'm always like, they will always copy the last thing, but they can't copy the next thing, unless their R&D department is exceptional, which is possible.
Yeah, right.
Or not their R&D, their opposition party, right? What do you call it?
I don't know. The one thing that I've, and of course, we've been kind of out of the loop. Fireside has for a little while, but there are so many other tattoo podcast interview shows that have picked up the slack, and I'm happy to. I really am happy to see that, but I've been more interested lately. I think the thing that we'll do next, rather than trying to keep up with putting out constant interviews and constant content and doing the same thing that we've done in years past, is trying to produce things better, to focus a little more on the storytelling side of it, and make sure that like everything is clean and nice and looks like it belongs on a big screen TV, rather than just having just regular interview shows like we've already done. Not that we'll quit that stuff, but I think that my attention will go more towards bigger projects that'll be a lot more fun for me to take the time, like getting up this morning at 4 o'clock and clipping that little thing together. I like to find the audio track and then try to make the clips line up to the changes in the audio, and like and try to figure out what transitions are cool and don't look silly or obvious, trying to make sure that the color balances from shot to shot. I just never knew anything about all that stuff for so many years. And now that I've got all this cool gear around me and I can do it, I just like, I want to spend some more time doing that kind of stuff. So
it is a lot of fun, although editing, and to your point, like writing, producing, filming, putting it all together, tremendous amount of work.
Yeah. We need we have to generate some revenue in order to do that right. But,
yes,
but still
to make it sustainable.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lauren.
No, I didn't really have too much to say. I think now is kind of like a downtime of the year in comparison to the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I know that you have both quite a bit, but it's been a really busy year looking back. I mean, it started in February.
Yeah.
With the Reinventing Live event.
It really has. It's been, and I'm finished tattoo wise. I'm done this year. I have a trip to Toronto next week for my coaching for strategic coach. But other than that, my tattoo trips are finished, and I've turned down all of my normal conventions to start next year. Normally I would be in Austin in January, and then Space City and Hell City and all of those. And I haven't signed up to do any of those because I think I want to focus on, like I just said, doing more interesting projects. I actually spent a good bit of time talking with Dave Koenig in Richmond, and I think we're going to go out to Omaha and follow him for a couple of days and do a documentary style piece about his kind of crossover to the commercial side of art, and some of his bigger kind of mural work that he's doing, and just kind of like he's one of these guys that his tattoo style has started to like seep out into the mainstream kind of commercial art world a little bit. And it's cool to see that happen, especially with a guy who's just as like humble and genuine, and as nothing about him comes off as someone that you would think is doing like big time projects like painting exteriors of buildings at hospitals and big government buildings or any of that kind of stuff. So I want to focus on doing some trips more like that. One thing, and I'd be curious to know if anyone watching has an idea on this, I'd like to do a tour of really, really well-run tattoo studios, bigger ones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like talk not only to the owners of the studio, but the artists and what they think makes that place special, the clients and what they think makes that place special, and maybe spend 3-4 days at each place and get an idea of kind of the inner workings, whatever they'll allow us to to get. But I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't know, maybe some other folks have done that. We've gone to shops and done series at a shop where we just hit all of the artists at the shop and do interviews with them, but it hasn't really been focused too much on what makes that shop a destination place, So.
Yeah, well, we could do there's like the travel TV, I watched the food, channel over dinner, and the diners, dives, and there's definitely a spot to like land at the right spots and to have a fun time at the right tattoo shops.
I know. Have you guys seen the Vice series? Their tattoo series. They did some different types of work around. That was pretty well produced.
Yeah.
It's an outsider looking in, I guess you could say. So you definitely have a different perspective and produce different content. But that is really cool idea.
Many movies.
Yeah. We got some interesting comments on this subject. Adam Ugly brings up a good point. And it's funny because although I'm talking about enjoying the video production side of it, I kind of agree with what he's saying here. He says, I kind of hate how tattooing is becoming a lot about video editing and posting on social media. And for these little like clips and reels, they're so well done now. And like, and it's just like, slow pan and the ink dipping in or like the machine dipping in the water or whatever. I get what he's saying there. And I
kind of get it, but it's the same. So I don't mean, it's the same thing as before. Like you don't have to, like you can tattoo awesome people, give them a great experience, give them 10 business cards. Make sure your posters are out on the streets, email them. Like, you don't need to be a video editor. Like, again, it's like all this, just because someone else is doing it and doing it really well doesn't mean that that's how you do it. And again, tattooing is like, you tattoo your clients, you do an awesome job on your clients. You know, you have to, you know, at a shop where there's no assholes or whatever, but like, you know, and then they come back with their friends and their family. It doesn't have to be more complicated. Can be. Some people dig it. You know, you like to doing videos. The other guy doesn't like to do the videos. So don't do the videos, do something else. You don't have to.
It's a definite other form of expression too. So pros or cons, like for me, you know, for you guys, another form of art, and it is cool to play with it, you know, but you know, it depends on your motivation. Sometimes I get irritated, of course, when I see those videos that it just for the gram, or, you know, it's not for any sort of artistic expression. And, you know, also clients really do enjoy that. That extra bit of attention to them is very memorable, depending on how tasteful it is and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I enjoy, like you were just saying, like I was saying earlier, I'm learning to be an editor, and I'm not a video editor at all, but I love the tools and the gear and all of that kind of stuff. And so, and I'm thinking of it more as long form content, storytelling. I think, and I know exactly, I can picture the videos that Adam is talking about, where it's, you know, the kind of slow pan, and it happens to be like some tattooer who looks like a cover model or something like that, is like striking and has like perfect lighting on their face, and then it pans down and you see like 4 seconds of the tattoo and the rest of it's all all them.
Yes.
So I definitely get that. And then we've got Rafael Lara says, what do you think of these overseas tattoo machines are getting better every time? They're filling the void that this tattoo machines from here. They're filling the void that this tattoo machines from here that would only sell to professional tattoo artists. I think there's a little bit of a mistype there. Overseas tattoo machines that are getting better every time. I don't know that I know what, I mean, there are a lot of, you know, Cheyenne kind of invented the cartridge pin style machine. So a lot of the
there's some cool American technology. Like we were just hanging out with Ray from Neotat, the first linear tattoo machine. And he's got some cool stuff. Obviously, Carson Hill is banging. He's got some cool stuff. But there are, you know, even Vlad overseas and stuff like that. Like when we're here, it's like you have this whole bubble of technology, and it's kind of circulating, but these bubbles are around the world. So it is pretty interesting to see some of that technology come. And the materials, you know.
I wonder if they're like meaning overseas, not meaning like, you know, the craft machines out of Europe, but meaning
maybe I wonder if they mean the cheap kind of
you'd have to be more, you're talking to some worldly people here. So we love how, you know, there's a lot of awesome quality overseas machine builders. If you're looking for specifics, you gotta let us know.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Gabe. I think we're probably talking more about Amazon machines, things like that, like that are complete knockoffs. That's my guess.
There's always been scratchers. I don't know, it's a different game, right? I mean, you know, and at some point, if those tools get to be as good, what are you going to do? I don't know. I mean, again, you can always copy the last thing. You can't copy the next thing.
Right.
That's why I was so intrigued by Aaron's presentation and the things that he was. It's not like copying. It's like asking questions because you really want that answer, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just for nothing.
He gets into it too. Aaron does. Aaron wants to he'll want that actual fucking data, and then he wants those precision instruments to actually be, you know, in tune throughout the course of the whole thing. It's pretty fun.
I can pull up one of his little videos I shared with one of my other nerdy friends real quick.
Right. Raphael did just clarify, right? Amazon machine. So I mean, you could poke holes and poke, right? I mean, it's not like, you know, you use the best machine for what you can do. And, you know, it's always great to support real people, you know, support real people when you can. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
At some point, there are going to be surgeon robots that are going to be able to poke the needles. They're going to change the needles to whatever the perfect arrangement is going to be, given the fact that they've studied, you know, 3.6 million, you know, other tattoo operation procedures, so that, you know, they're not even going to be using Amazon cheap machines. They're going to be using fucking multi-million-dollar fucking surgical robots.
Yeah. Yeah. Measuring skin trauma in nanoseconds.
Yeah.
Check this out.
All right, let's see it.
That's cool, right?
Wait.
Well, I didn't see it.
I missed it.
Oh, I'll try it again. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there, actually.
There we go. Oh, cool.
my foot.
You like the water.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Oh, I had the
And so the goal is to get the hole to be the vacuum. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's fun.
more
That's
fun
cool.
stuff here. PCB assembly in-house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
PCB.
beyond the zeros and ones. This is like the fucking, you know, circuitry boards and which way is the fucking electricity goes.
And you know,
Yeah,
it was
cool.
pretty cool to also hear him talk about like fixing stuff and not throwing it out, you know,
Yeah.
servicing. So that's great. Very innovative.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can
Sounded
get
like
him
you
on
had
soon.
a course of life for the product plan
Mhm.
too, maybe about recycling, bringing it back.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
was
that's
that Instagram page? The Mad Scientist what?
The Mad Scientist 684, and that would be Aaron Williams.
I have a lot of notes for this morning. All right. Aaron
Who
Williams,
else did you
Mad
catch up with on
Scientist.
our way out in Richmond? I saw that Lalo was there. Do you know Lalo?
I saw that.
Or Andy
You know him,
Chambers?
right?
You saw Andy was there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Who did I meet that I didn't know before? Oh, I met and podcasted with Javi. You guys know Javi? He does the Board to Death Club on NFTs, but he is a man, he's a next level tattooer.
Oh yeah, no.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull him up real quick. I know it's almost time. You guys will know One Piece. As soon as I saw One Piece, it was like I remembered it for being like one of those tattoos that went viral. It's a realistic tattoo of Animal from the Muppets, but it's like it's Animal, but it's like painterly and super believable.
Oh, nice.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Man, I have a sad but funny story of a friend of mine who passed. This was way back before. This would have been it could have been a game changer for Kelly Doty. Like before she was, you know, she was probably a year or two into tattooing, and she was going to do over Christmas. We did best tattoo idea, and my buddy wanted Animal as a Christmas guy or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But my buddy Bob he comes out to start the tattoo, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go, and I don't know, I think I was going to my buddy Simon's house. So I was like, okay, well, you get your tattoo, I'm gonna go have fun. And it's like a Saturday or something. So then I get to my friend's house, and the shop calls up like, hey, you got to come pick up Bao. He's I'm not gonna be able to finish the tattoo. I'm like, finish the tattoo? Did you even start the fucking tattoo? Like, I just got here. And wait a minute, no, like the guy, like tell him to put on, his pants and fucking get back in the chair and do the tattoo, get the tattoo. And he couldn't. And I think that like maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, I had to like drive back to the shop to go pick up my friend. I must have, I don't know, or maybe I don't know, one way or another. He didn't finish the tattoo. He started off, he had like the outline of Holly, because it was like a Christmas tattoo.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as she started to put in a berry, the red, he passed out. Oh yeah, look at that shit.
Do you remember this tattoo? It was so famous for so long.
Yeah.
Tattooed Theory, that's his shop. He's in Miami. Super cool guy. He's an he does like
bam.
Yeah, awesome. Look at this little Pikachu. So good.
That's cool.
Oh my god, yeah, that is.
That's a Pikachu.
Yeah, I think so, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the like knitting in the hat, like the texture in the hat and stuff. It's crazy. But just as cool of a guy as you could imagine. I met him through Jesse. First was like, you need to talk to Javi's a guy you definitely need to podcast with, and then he was set up next to Frank Sinatra, and I was talking to Frank and met him, and he was such a cool guy that I look at this man, freaking crazy good. But he's big in the NFT space as well. He's actually the one that got Jesse and Frank and all those guys into the NFT space. His NFT collection is called Board to Death Club. And it's huge. I've got on their Discord server and they're freaking killing it. But one thing that's cool is they have this community and so many people in Richmond. There was one guy in Richmond that I met that was part of all three of their projects, Jesse, Frank Sinatra, and Javi. And he came in from Australia and he was getting his free tattoo from Javi because he happened to get an NFT that got him a free tattoo. So it's like, I guess, you mint your NFTs and then one of them might be this legendary rare thing and it comes with the ability to get that tattoo, that specific character tattooed by Javi. So he flew in from Australia with his wife and like got that tattoo and hung out with all these, all of his NFT people all weekend. It was pretty cool. It was like, I don't know, man. I got a lot of pushback on the NFT stuff this week at the show. Some people just don't get it at all, but from the community standpoint and like
what do you mean? How do you get? How
it's just
pushback?
a lack of understanding of it. Everybody,
I would say there's pros and cons on that. The pushback I see is more environmental.
Yeah.
So
and they're constantly trying to find ways to fix that, but
offset.
Yeah, to offset, but so Javi was super cool. He was one new guy that I met there. A few new folks, but who did you say? I don't think I met whoever you just asked me about. Lalo. No, I did not meet Lalo.
Oh, yeah, he's a
Lalo.
man,
Yeah.
really cool guy.
Yeah. So
Does a lot of traveling.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, so what's on the agenda for next week, guys? Anything cool happening this week?
Just working.
I'm starting a cool new sleeve tomorrow of a crane and a tortoise. Like kind of Japanese, kind of my style of Japanese style, but that'll be fun. Working on that and then preparing for my getting my brain ready for Toronto so I can come back as a business mastermind.
Oh, we do. I have those tickets ready to go. Actually, speaking of the business class, I've got it's like two days of the inspiring tours.
We have to start.
So if anybody is
pushing
still,
that.
Yeah, we do absolutely. But let me
Can we pitch it? We're a minute over, or do we need to save it for next week or what?
No, we can pitch it, I think. Or if you go to Inspiring Tours, we can pitch it. I mean, no one's going to buy it probably right off of this, but for the replay, this is we have one ticket left for Sean and Nick, and then I did not publish the page yet. So
all right.
No, Inspiring.tours, get on the mailing list next week. Well, we'll start pushing for real though. Because I think it was like $1,250, 1,250 for 2 days of business talk. So,
that sounds interesting.
Business and mindset.
I called it an inspiring business.
All right, perfect.
Well,
awesome.
You guys, it's great to see you again. I'm sure next week. We'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.